Okay, so first let's go to mograph and click on mo text. Let's change the text to C. And let's change depth to 40 and subdivision to 100. If you click on your keyboard MB, you can see the shading lines. So maybe let's just change the subdivision to 40. 40 is good. Let's change the font to Sasson Primary. Intermediate points, let's change to subdivided. If we go to caps, go to both bevels, size, and let's have 40 centimeters. Okay, I think that's all good. Let's copy this mo text and leave that as a spare. Go back to mo text, click on make editable, click on your mo text, right click, select children, right click again, and connect objects plus delete. Push NA, that brings the shading lines back off. Okay, so that's our first letter. Let's duplicate, go to mo text, control, and drag it up. Make a copy. Let's uncheck this, go back to your mo text. Let's move it right. Go to object in your mo text and change the text to 4. Go to make editable. Go back to your mo text, right click, select children, right click again, connect objects plus delete. Let's go to mo text, make a copy. Let's uncheck this. Let's change this letter in text to D. Let's drag it over. Make it editable. Right click on your mo text, select children, right click again, and connect objects plus delete. So that's our text. We'll leave this other mo text as a spare in case something goes wrong. Let's put a twist into it. So go up to this and select twist and drag that and make it a child of the C. So below the C. Okay, and click fit to parent. The box is here at the moment. If you click fit to parent, it covers the C. Make sure you're on 0 frames. Let's extend this timeline to 150. So where it says 90, let's change that, make 150, push enter. Let's make the angle 720, push enter. And that twists that all up. And keyframe that by clicking on angle. So it goes red. And let's go to 90. And type 0 angle and click the keyframe button again. Let's rewind it and see what happened. It just unfolds. Copy this twist, so control, go to the twist and bring it up and drag it to underneath the 4 and click fit to parent. So now it's on the 4. Let's make this minus 720. Make sure you're at 0 on the timeline and click on your keyframe and go to 90 and that's on 0, so that's all good. And let's copy from the C and drag that onto the D and click fit to parent. Let's check our animation, so go to 0 and push play. That's all good. And now let's put a shatter effect onto these. So go up here and click shatter and let's drag that under the C. Let's go to a 110 and let's keyframe 0 on strength and then go to 130 and make this 70 and click strength. And then if you rewind this, it goes like that. I think we can extend this to 140, so it's a little bit slower. Have a look at it. Yeah, I think that's better. Let's hold down Control on the shatter and take that up to the 4 underneath. And let's do the same for the D. And let's just check our animation. Let's just close these up a bit so it looks a bit more tidy. Let's make the backdrop. So select a cube. Let's bring this over a little bit and up. And let's make the X size 3000, the Y size 1500, and the Z size 1500. And zoom out by holding 2. And just bring this up a bit. And make sure your cube is selected and make it editable. Go down to polygons and click on the front, so it's highlighted, and delete. Click on the side, delete. Click on the other side, delete. And click on the top, delete. Go back to model and make sure it's on the move tool. Okay, let's just create a material so we can see the cube. So double left click and click on the material. Go to color. So let's make this say yellow, and let's just drag that onto the cube. Make sure the floor is beneath your text. Animate these letters. So let's click on the C. Let's go to 0 and let's drag this one back a bit, like that, and keyframe that. And then on 90, let's bring that back up and make sure that's lined up with the others. So just keyframe that. So it's looking like this. Okay, the 4 is gonna come from the front, so click on the 4 and try to drag it the same sort of distance. Maybe something like that. Keyframe it, go to 90, and then just bring that back to the middle. If you want a different view, you can click the middle mouse button and you can look from this top view if you want a more accurate, but it tends to hover around using 1, 2, and 3. 1 moves it left and right, 2 in and out, and 3 rotation. So yeah, so on your 4, on your 90, make sure that's keyframed. Click on D, drag it down so it disappears. Keyframe it, go to 90, and then just bring it back up, making sure the similar height to the others. Okay, so now we're going to light and color the scene. I will do standard version first. Let's just quickly save this in case something crashes. Let's call it C4D animation. Create a area light. And let's have this one above the C4D. So let's rotate this. Hold down Shift, you can bring it up slowly in segments. Let's go to the move, let's move it over the middle. And let's make this a little bit bigger. So go to scale, left click off the light, hold it down and just drag it up so it gets bigger. Gonna drag this up a bit. That's okay. Let's create another area light. And we're gonna have this from the side. Let's make it a little bit bigger. On this light one, let's go to tags, go to animation and select target. Click on your target tag, and where it says target object, let's use the 4 and drag that down into there. Now, wherever you move this light, it's going to focus in on that 4. Copy light 1, control, move it up, and let's have this around the other side. So that's my light setup, something like that. You might need to adjust it in a bit. Okay, let's go to light. Let's have ambient illumination. Go to light 1 and have the same. And light 2. And let's just check. So it's looking like that. Let's have some shadows. So on light 1, where it says shadow under general, let's have some soft shadow. Let's do the same with light 1 and the light 2 as well. Shadow map soft. And check your render. So now you've got some shadows. If you think it's a little bit too bright, we can change this. Let's try 80. Okay, so that's looking good for me. While we're here, let's put a camera in. So go to camera, click on that. Let's just create some materials. So double left click on the material, go into that, and okay, let's go to texture, surfaces, and metal. So click on this blue. I'm going to change whitish color. I'm going to click on this black, make it brighter to white, drag that on, and let's create another material for the sea. So I'll double click here. You can rename this if you want. Go into your material and you could type whatever you want to call it here. Let's see, we're going to make a purplish color, so drag that onto the sea. Let's create a new material, double click, go to material, it's going to be D, so I'm just going to rename that, and I'm going to have a red. So in color, choose red, I'm going to drag that onto the D. Camera, I just wanted to put a little push on it, so I'm going to line it up with the 4. Check your render. Got the camera selected. Checking my render. And the camera is just going to move forward a little bit with the 4. So to do that, click on camera, go to 0, do a keyframe, go to 90. Make sure your camera is selected. I'm going to hold 2 and I'm just going to push the camera in a little bit. Something like that. And keyframe. Going to rewind it and see what it looks like. So if I'm happy with that, you're good. Let's save it. So for me, 2560, 1440 is just going to be TV size. Instagram, TikTok, you want to do 1080 by 1920. If you do that, make sure your camera is adjusted to those settings. Frame range is from 0 to 150. You've got it on 30 frames per second. Going to leave all that the same. Let's go to save. Now this is your destination where you want to save it. I'm just going to choose the desktop. I tend to do all my saves in a PNG sequence. So whatever format you want, I recommend PNG. If it crashes, you can just take off where you crashed from. If you want to do it straight to movie, you do MP4. However, don't forget you can convert this in something like After Effects to a movie. This is much safer. If you spend 5 hours rendering something and it crashes, then you're going to wish you'd done it in a sequence. And then just push this play button. So for Octane, let's open up the window, live viewer, and I'm just going to drag that to the side. So all these materials will need to be Octane materials, and we need to put an Octane camera and light. So let's start with some materials. I'm going to use the Octane materials. So I'm going to go to Open Live DB. For the 4, I chose metal. I'm going to have a silver. Should quickly save this before I download it. So I'm going to delete these other materials. For the C, I'm going to go to cloth. I'm going to choose black velvet. It's going to change this diffuse color. So in diffuse, go to color, double click in that box, and I'm going to have like a purplish color. I'm going to drag that mix onto the C. For the D, I'm going to have a black. So I'm going to choose a paint, just a car paint black. The black onto the letter D. So for the cube, I'm going to create extensions, Octane material. I'm going to have a yellow like the other version. I'm going to have yellow, so click on color. And something like that. Now it's time to light it. So let's click on the 4. Go to Objects, Lights, Octane Target, Area Light, and it's going to bring this up above the C4D. Click on 4, go to Objects, Lights, Target Light, and we're going to bring this one to the side. Let's Control and copy that Octane light. And I'm going to have the other one around the other side. So this is my light setup. Just 2 on the side, 1 above, nothing special. And let's put a camera on this. These lines are whatever you save it in the settings. So that's what you're going to see when you render it out. So I'm just going to line up the C4D in the middle. Click on the camera viewer. It's going to have a slight push. Click on camera, go to 0 frame, keyframe. Going to go to 90 and hold 2. I'm just going to push that in a little bit. And another keyframe. If you go to the beginning, this is what you got. You've got these lights you can see. So let's turn off the visibility. Go to your Octane light, click on the Octane light tag, scroll down to the bottom where it says visibility, and just uncheck camera visibility. Let's do that with the other 2. So click on your next Octane light, uncheck the visibility and your final one. Now you can see it's just disappeared. Okay, let's just quickly save that. Okay, maybe the intensity of these lights are a little bit strong, so I've turned my lights power to 60, but you can choose whatever you want, whatever look you're going for. If I'm happy with that, I'm going to save it. Go to Settings, Renderer, we're going to use Octane Render. Go to Octane Render and click on Use All GPUs. go to save and create a new folder, C4D render, and click save. My format is PNG. If you do a video but it crashes, you've got to start again, so I recommend PNG. You can use After Effects to convert it later, for example. Resolution, width 2560, height 1440. If you're doing Instagram or TikTok, width 1080, height 1920. Manual 0 to 150 and 30 frames. That's all good. In my Octane settings, I'm going to have direct lighting. We have max samples as 500. I'm gonna have specular depth of 5, glossy depth of 3, diffuse of 3. Click on adaptive sampling. Should be a fairly quick render. So that's all looking good. Click all those settings, make sure it's saved. Click save to make sure those settings are saved, and render out.